In April 2025, the President Prabowo had a state visit to Turkey aimed at strengthening the bilateral ties between two countries. The visit followed the President Erdogan visit to Jakarta, marked the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Indonesia and Turkey. Amid the global challenges, including the tariff imposed by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, which affected both countries, Indonesia and Turkey, a strong bilateral trade is more important than ever. The governments of Indonesia and Turkey have agreed to eliminate trade barriers amid the lingering effects of tariffs imposed during the Trump administration. As part of this renewed economic cooperation, both countries have set an ambitious trade target of $10 billion by 2025, a significant increase from $2.4 billion in 2024. To support this goal, Indonesia and Turkey have signed a number of cooperation documents and are expediting the finalization of the Indonesia-Turkey Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. The agreement is expected to broaden trade opportunities and improve market access for both nations. Responding to this, the Indonesian ambassador to Turkey, Ahmad Rizal Purnama, stated that Indonesia has great potential beyond its current major export products. He emphasized the importance of exploring new sectors to diversify and boost Indonesia's export performance in Turkey.
Since my arrival here, I identify from the very beginning 10 plus 10 products that potentially can be improved or strengthened or increased in terms of our export to Turkey. The 10 biggest products exported to Turkey, it's reflect more than 87% of our export, almost 34% of our export, coming from steel, iron and steel. And others product as well, there is a potential is on textile, particularly fibers. That's why they need very much, intermediary product or raw materials, which is coming from Indonesia. Turkey imported annually, more than $5 billion gold. And we exported more than $50 billion to the world. Then we have the capacity to export that product. At the same time, Turkey imported that product from other country. Then why we don't use that opportunity?
Ahmad Rizal believes that Turkey can also serve as a gateway for Indonesia to access European markets, which are seen as an alternative export destination in response to Trump-era tariff policies.
If we see the whole export of Turkey product to the world, 42% going to Europe, $21 billion export Turkey going to Germany only. So you see how big the potential to make Turkey as a gateway for the European market.
Aside from the sectors already mentioned, there is one area with strong potential, relatively low export volume: agriculture. This can be improved through a soft power strategy known as gastronomy diplomacy. Hafsa, the founder and director of Halal Travel Network, stated that gastronomy diplomacy is rooted in community. By eating a country's dishes, you get to know and feel connected with the country itself.
There's so much food, there's so much history there that we could do and understand more of the thousands of years of history. There's South Africa, fantastic barbecue called braai that tells you like stories, and people get really protective of it. And Zanzibar, there's that Swahili culture that has Indian, Arab, and all that history that you get to learn. So it's always more than just food.
According to data from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, there are at least 19 Indonesian restaurants in Turkey, with 15 of them located in Istanbul. One of these is Wasriyati, who established Kedai Indonesia Turkey in Istanbul in 2021. She has been regularly importing spices from Indonesia to preserve the authentic taste of her Indonesian dishes. Not only does she want the Indonesian diaspora to feel at home, but she also aims to promote Indonesian cuisine to the people of Turkey.
Kita mengirim barang dari Indonesia maksimal 2 minggu sekali. Kalau perbumbuan kita kayak ngambil serai, kayak kemiri, lengkuas apa kita kagak ada di sini. Kayak gitu, yang kita utamain kayak gitu, bumbu-bumbu. Yang datang ke warung aku, ke restoran aku bukan orang Indonesia aja, orang Turkinya juga. Alhamdulillah lingkungan di sekitar kita semua pada suka.
She uses Justip, short for Jasa Titip, a service where customers purchase products through individuals who act as intermediaries to import the spices, as Indonesian spices are hard to find even in Asian stores. Because of this, she finds it challenging in terms of cost.
Kita tantangannya di sini terkendala di importnya. Otomatis kita harus fresh makanan kayak gitu, kayak perbumbuan harus fresh semuanya. Jadi tantangannya di situ. Kita pakai Justip kita bayar lebih mahal.
Gastronomy diplomacy is also being practiced by Fatah Umasugi, an Indonesian who owns a coffee shop and coffee roastery in Istanbul. Having lived in Turkey for more than a decade, he began learning about coffee in 2015 and eventually became a jury member for the Turkish National Coffee Championship. Now he focuses on introducing Indonesian specialty coffee to the Turkish market.
2012 sampai dengan 2017 itu tren kopi di Turki sebenarnya adalah peminum atau penikmat kopi Turkish coffee. Jadi Turkish coffee ini kayak kopi tubruk aja gitu. Cuman trennya mulai bergeser nih dari orang-orang anak-anak muda yang mulai tahu tentang kopi.
He used to source Indonesian coffee beans from Germany, which was costly. After a long journey, he began importing the beans directly from Indonesian coffee farmers. Slowly but surely, Indonesian coffee is gaining recognition among the Turkish people, and he has even started marketing it to other countries.
Saya impor kopi Flores tahun 2024 Oktober atau November. Flores, kemudian dari Ijen Lestari, kemudian saya bawa Gunung Arjuno, kopi Gunung Arjuno, Jawa Timur. Kemudian saya juga bawa apa lagi ya, Bali Kintamani saya bawa. Karena sebelum itu kopi Indonesia memang dikenal sebagai kopi yang kualitasnya di bawah. Jadi harganya mahal tapi kualitasnya tidak baik gitu. Karena memang tadi rantainya memang dari Eropa kemudian masuk ke Turki ya. 100% akan berdampak pada harga kopi gitu. Kalau udah masuk Eropa, khususnya mungkin Jerman, ini kalau ditransfer atau dikirim lagi ke negara-negara kecil atau negara-negara mungkin bisa dibilang Turki, Azerbaijan, kemudian ke negara-negara ini akan memakan waktu dan memakan harga yang naik, harganya akan naik. Jadi memang Turki ini letaknya strategis, makanya itu kita mau kita buka hubnya di sini.
Both Fatah and Sri showed that gastronomy diplomacy can help to elevate the exports in the agricultural sectors, and the potential is huge.
Ya, karena kalau dilihat dari segi custom tax, itu custom tax Indonesia tuh di atas, jadi kita 8% sendiri. Terus kemudian negara-negara lain tuh di bawah kita. Nah, dengan kerjasama mungkin bahwa Presiden datang kemarin terus bertemu dengan Presiden Erdogan di sini tuh saya sangat positif dengan hal ini. Butuh
Dukungan juga dari pemerintah, mempermudah kita juga untuk mendapatkan bahan-bahan Indonesia di sini dengan gimana caranya kayak gitu ngadain market Indo kayak apa di sini. Jadi kita mempermudah kita.
In Jakarta, during President Erdogan visit, they agreed, to finish very soon in 2026 what they call it limited preferential trade agreement. Then we focus on certain product that Indonesia and Turkey, both can boost our product to our two market. Then When we focus on that, we give better and larger access for that product, then certainly will increase our trade volume.
Akasha Fiandri, Hanif Abdu for City Today.